And no news is good news in the case of Luis Guilherme. When I say no news, there has been some. It's the same news that it was 2 or 3 days ago, maybe a little bit more precise. The player is due to be flying over for a medical. And it's said on Saturday. I don't know whether that means today or whether that means next Saturday. Some people are saying this weekend. I thought it was actually meant to be 2 or 3 days ago, but it turns out Guilherme was actually playing for Brazil under-20s, quite possibly. The extra little bit of news was provided by Fabrizio Romano yesterday, which was deals have been agreed. A verbal agreement in place with the club, a verbal agreement in place with the player. I guess that's verbal enough for him to warrant him getting onto a plane to Stansted or wherever he's going to fly into. Probably won't be, will it, from Brazil, to be fair. So he got welcome to Britain. He can go around the M25. He'll go past the Wisley interchange, past Junction 10. That'd be enough to make him turn round and go the other way. That's for bloody sure. So, but that seems like good news because this is... I was going to say he's our number one target. I'm not sure he is. Now, let me just quantify what I mean by that. Does that mean I think we're going to spend any more than sort of 30-odd million pound on a player? Probably not, but I don't think he's our top target because if you haven't gone and watched the video yet, that Gio did with the South American football expert. It was very good, very, very good. Anyway, he's got encyclopedic knowledge of Guilherme and all the young players in South America, actually. And he knows far more about it than we do. It was very, very clear listening to that we're not buying the finished product here. We're really not. He's 18. He's been described as raw by a lot of people. Needs to work on his weaker foot, his shooting, and his dribbling's excellent, but he needs to work on his shooting, perhaps in his final ball. So I think this is to expect this guy to come straight in and go into the first team. Possibly the transfer fee would suggest that. I think maybe some of the other stuff would suggest not. However, I do believe we're going to get a manager in now in terms of Lopetegui or head coach, whatever you want to call him. He's going to be making a few more substitutions than we're used to. So I'd expect to see Guilherme and others feature more off the bench, even if they're not in the starting team. But the reason I was going to go on and say that I don't believe that he is our main signing is something that Jacob Steinberg has written. And it's something we've actually discussed on this channel, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, which is West Ham priority signings. I've said on this channel, so I'm not swearing at you there, 2 centre-halves. Steinberg's confirming that. The other thing that said was a left winger and a forward, but he goes a little bit further than that. So let me just read what Jacob has said in his Guardian article. He says West Ham are looking for 6 to 8 signings this summer. They have attempted to derail Bayer Leverkusen's move for Girona midfielder Aleix García. Garcia is thought to have an agreement with Leverkusen, but West Ham are not out of the running. Lopetegui is looking for 2 centre-backs and is determined to sign a new forward. West Ham have been scouting Europe for number 9. They also want a left-back and a left winger. Apart from the left-back bit, we told you this, probably 9 a month ago as well. It's nice to hear it confirmed from elsewhere as well. But he's... he always writes a good article, Steinberg does. Just moving back onto a midfielder who obviously Leverkusen are after, who's Aleix García. I'm not sure how much I believe. I believe we're interested. I do wonder if Leverkusen are being interested. Is that true, really? Look, he's an okay player. He is. He appears he's an okay player. Defensive midfielder. I can absolutely understand Lopetegui wanting him. But Leverkusen, they're one of the best teams in Europe, and with the outstanding young coach they've got, they're possibly going to be pushing next year in the Champions League to be... Why would you not? Why would you not try and be... If you were, let's say Leverkusen are the 5th best team in Europe or something like that. I might have that wrong, but you'd have your own ideas. Why would you not aspire to be the best team in Europe? I'm not entirely sure they're interested in this player. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Aleix García is the player that Calvin Phillips should have been when we signed him. Maybe. I don't know. I'll be very pleased to have him. I'm not saying he's a bad player. Far from it. I think he's exactly the type of player that Lopetegui would want in terms of a defensive midfielder who's very comfortable on the ball, He's going to allow, if what you hear is correct, he wants creative centre-backs who can step out of defence. Then he wants his defensive midfielders to be able to step back into defence. He's going to be able to do that. And he's very, very comfortable on the ball. Really good long-range passing ability as well. And you need more than one. I know we're not in Europe, but I certainly think you need more than one of those players. And obviously Edson Alvarez being the one. So, yeah, I mean, it would not surprise me. What this does play into is other rumours suggesting that quite possibly Lopetegui might be looking to offload James Ward-Prowse. I'm not sure how much of that I believe. I don't know. I mean, there's so many of these rumours you have to sort of pick the bones out of, don't you? And start looking for other reasons why they may or may not be true. We'll have to wait and see on that. But, I mean, he can't have everybody, can he? I mean, let's be fair. He can't sort of retain James Ward-Prowse, Thomas Souček, Edson Alvarez, bring in Aleix García, give Flynn Downs a chance, promote Lewis Orford, and give Freddie Potts a chance. It ain't going to happen, is it? I mean, best will in the world, he's going to be playing 3 of them, right? So, I don't know. Look, some of this is absolute crap, isn't it? And some of it is going to be true. Aleix García, yeah, quite possibly. The left winger, okay. Well, I mean, this is interesting. So, if we sign Guilherme, does that not count? He plays primarily on the right, but he is left-footed. I mean, from what I've seen, and by and large what I've read, by the way, about Lopetegui, his wingers aren't really wingers. They're a little bit more inverted. I don't mean by that necessarily it's that the lefties playing on the right and the righties playing on the left, although you might get that. I just mean they're almost more sort of wide attacking midfielders, really, and the genuine width is given by the fullback. So I don't know. I'm not sure where Guilherme fits into these plans. I'm not sure if he wants a left winger, then maybe he's not that guy. I don't know. So is that an additional player? I'd still believe, and I've maintained this for some time, do not rule us out of buying Wilfried Zaha. Honestly, I really think that's a huge possibility. As I mentioned, I quite like that Jota Silva as well. But, you know, like some people say the words, I won't believe a transfer until he's holding up the shirt. I won't believe we're not going to sign Wilfried Zaha until the transfer window closes. I think it's a high likelihood. I wouldn't put any money on it because I'm not a betting man. Well, if I do, I'll bet 10 pence. I might bet 10 pence. But yeah, don't rule it out. And by the way, I'm not mocking it. I think he'd be a very good player for West Ham. I really do. I think he's a damn fine player. But it's not really the age profile we're looking for. But you know what? If we went and bought an 18-year-old winger and a 31-year-old winger, I wouldn't complain. You're sort of covering both bases, really, aren't you? Particularly when you've got a couple of them in their mid-20s as well, already at the club. I mean, it looks like if this is true, it looks like we're going to try and build a formidable squad. The 2 centre-backs, it ain't really worth talking about at this point. Could be Bruno, could be Vital, could be Max Kilman, looks a bit expensive. Definitely not Toysin, who's gone to Chelsea. Did turn down West Ham, apparently, because we didn't have European football. I'll tell you what, mate, you ain't going to be play European football at Chelsea unless I'm very much mistaken, because I don't think you'll be necessarily getting into the team. Because it turns out that Chelsea, I mean, it's a bit of a bad time for him. Chelsea apparently don't have to sell any players to comply with FFP rules because they've sold part of the hotel or the training ground or whatever. It's very, very hard to keep up. Must be a nightmare, not just adhering to these rules and finding loopholes, but actually making the bloody rules. They're so complicated. So it possibly means that they might not have to sell Chalobah. So, look, who knows what's going on there. If Toysin's going to play every game, I'll be very, very surprised. I'm not gutted to miss out on him. I think it'd be nice to have him, nice to have him on a free. He's not an outstanding defender for me, anyway. And, the left winger we've discussed. The striker, I mean, come on. This is the one. I like transfer rumours, by the way. I like transfer rumours. I do enjoy them. Very rare I get fed up with a transfer rumour. But I sort of am fed up with a striker one because it's been going on for a long time. And people measure it in players and managerial stints and transfer windows and stuff like that. I'm not sure how I measure it, but every time I start to try and measure how long it's been, I seem to pull it back even further. So I initially went back to Scamacca. No, actually, it's more Hilaire, but that didn't really work out. And then sort of you're into Pellegrini's reign, aren't you? Because he sort of signed him. And then you go back even further, you go back to Moyes' first stint. Well, he couldn't work out what to do with Chicharito. Not at West Ham and certainly not at Manchester United either. Because he was a proper striker. It's not like we haven't had strikers. We've had them. Scamacca's a proper striker. So's Haller, so's Chicharito. We just don't know what to do with a player. So, we tend to have to convert wingers like with Arnautovic or obviously Mikel Antonio. I'm tired of it now. Particularly at the old En-Nesyri ones. I just think I don't care anymore, actually. Can someone sign him so we can stop being linked with him, really? Because that would be really, really good. I've even given up putting his name in video. Even if I talk about him, I don't even put his name in video. I've given up, honestly. A couple of days ago, I thought, I can't be bothered. Not even going to put his name in the title. It's still time though. Maybe I'll change my tune on that. Obviously, if we sign him, and then it'd be welcome. En-Nesyri. It's also hard with that one to believe because obviously he's made really good mates with Nathan Gerd, but Nathan Gerd can't wait to get out of West Ham. Is a Gerd really saying, "Oh, you want to join West Ham, mate? That'd be good." And the left back, really, I can't see it. I can't see it. Far be it from me to say Jacob Steinberg is wrong. I'm sure he's been told this stuff, but we're keeping Emerson, despite reports you might have heard. I'm pretty sure we're keeping Emerson. Aaron Cresswell was just signed a year contract. We've got Skulls coming through. We just don't need another left back, do we? We always heard that fullbacks were very, very important for Lopetegui, particularly that they overlap. A lot of the attacking's done through them. He likes a technical fullback. Well, Emerson's perfect for that. Where he's probably not perfect is what he's got at right back. So I don't know. Maybe they meant right back rather than left back. That one I could massively understand. But so there you go. The business has not finished yet. The business hasn't started yet. Never mind, the business hasn't finished yet. So yes, it's been it's July the 1st for the domestic transfer window opens. As someone posted, because I was a little bit confused the other day, and someone kindly posted in the comments. Whereas it's halfway through the month, halfway through July. That's the international one. However, as I said, you can sign a pre-contract agreement. You can get the paperwork done and all that sort of stuff. It just can't be registered until then. So, so I think concerns that we might lose out on Luis Guilherme if we don't move quickly on it. I think once you have the agreement in place and he's signed a pre-contract, you can't sort of break that. And once you've signed the paperwork with Palmeiras, then that's sort of done. It's just they can't hand over the player's registration until and ratify it until the transfer window is officially open. So there you go. There's not a lot of news around at the moment. A lot of it is regurgitate the same news, which is why this Guilherme stuff was exactly that. It was a case of, oh, he's flying over, he's agreed terms. Well, that was a case. It does seem a long time ago that I did me. Good news, Guilherme's signing video seems a long time ago, doesn't it? So, it probably was only a week or two ago, but it seems like it's dragged on a little bit longer than that. But as I say, the transfer window isn't open. What can we do? This is new ground for us, isn't it? We're very, very rarely in this position where we're waiting. We're waiting for the start of the transfer window to ratify a deal. That's not West Ham. We're normally panicking. We get some done sort of midway through, then we panic a little bit towards the end. This is new stuff, but you really do feel that this is being driven by the new head coach and by the director of football as well. Fair play to him. Let's hope it gets done sooner rather than later.